Hi, this is Dari. Welcome back to my channel, Motley Reads. Today I'm going to do a tag. The name of the tag is the A tag, and it's originated by Jim at Jim's Books, Reading and Stuff. And I was tagged by Steve Donahue. So I'm going to link both of their videos down below. I think it's pretty quick tag. It's a short tag. Jim has been doing these alphabet tags that have been around BookTube recently, and I think it was a A to J tag or something like that. So she was doing segments of the alphabet. So now he's back, and now he's doing the A tag, which is the first letter, and hopefully then B, C, D will come. Let's see. He didn't reveal any of his plans, but I really like this tag, and you know it makes you really think. It's 8 prompts. So let's get on with it. First question is A is for America. What do you consider the great American novel? Now, this is a pretty difficult question for me. First of all, let me confess that I by no means see myself qualified to in any meaningful way be able to answer this question. And reason for that, except of my personal ignorance, is also, I would say, culturally contextualized ignorance, since I'm a European, and here in Europe we have this I think picture of America that is created through popular culture and not rooted in literary tradition. It comes, I think, from American literature being excluded from school curricula. For instance, when I was in school, when I went to high school, the whole canon we read, it was pretty vast canon. It was basically comprised of French, German, Russian literature and domestic Yugoslavian literature. Also, when I did my last year in high school here in Sweden, where I live right now, and there was again the same thing. It is focus on domestic and European literature, nothing on America, nothing on Asia for that matter, neither on Africa. And when it comes to America, to view of American literature, I think it can be summarized very well with one event. Back in 2008, it was a quite great scandal in a world of culture when the secretary of the Swedish Academy, and the Swedish Academy is the group of people, the 18 Swedish academics, who are the ones that decide who will be recipient of a Nobel Prize for Literature. Right. So, and this group of 18 people is chaired by the secretary of the academy, and this secretary of the academy, this rotates. They are secretaries for a number of years. And in 2008, this guy Horace Engdahl, he's very well known figure in a cultural life here in Sweden, and in his own mind probably internationally as well, but I'm not very sure about that. However, he said in an interview with Associated Press that the reason he got the question why no American authors are getting Nobel Prize, and then he was saying that something like this. The reason for that is because the Americans, as a nation, are ignorant and isolated. They do not translate any books from elsewhere. They don't get any influences from outside, and they are captives in their own society, and very sensitive for the trends in their own popular culture. So there is nothing interesting and nothing of quality that is coming from America that would be so notable that it would render a Nobel Prize in Literature. And this was, of course, huge scandal and total nonsense, really. And when I I read this interview back in 2008, and it was, lots of it in Swedish media. I thought, okay, come on, this cannot be. What are you doing, man? You are really arrogant, stupid ass. So I got on a quest to read more American literature. So I read a lot. But still, I cannot see myself qualified to answer that question, because I don't really feel that I have still a good picture of the totality of American literature. I have a picture of the fragments, and they are connected, with the different historical phases, and yes, quite linked to the popular culture. The first book I got aware of as a book being a kind of a representative of a picture of a book that is used, I would say, to convey an image of America to us Europeans, which I read as a kid, was this one, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. And this book, I wouldn't claim it's a great American novel, but for me, for a long time, it has been an image of America that was beloved, that I really liked very much. And then for a certain period of time, I indulged very much in John Steinbeck. This is Of Mice and Men. Also a picture of America in during times in the early 20th century, and the whole that period, and in pre-depression and during depression, the whole period when lots of people are wandering around in America, and you get this picture of a land of restless souls, so to say. Another one that has shaped my picture is basically a bit a latter time period, yet Ernest Hemingway, and this is And the Sun Also Rises, in Swedish translation of Solen har sin gång. Also, this picture of post World War II young Americans in Europe, particularly Paris and Spain, and around the Riviera, living life, hanging out with artists and so on. All this romantic picture of that period. And so it goes. So these are just three examples that are forming this picture. So I really cannot put anyone on top of this pyramid and say, okay, this is the one. So long answer without answer, really. But I really hope that I don't offend anybody by quoting Horace Engdahl here. This is by no means my opinion of America or American literature, but just merely an attempt to explanation of why we in Europe are so ignorant about America, because we are snobs, really. So number 2, A is for arc. Which character in literature has the most interesting character arc? And here I had to Google what the arc is. So now I understand it's basically progression of a character through a book or series of books. And here I must say, one of my favorite books ever actually is this one, Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantel, and the character, the lead character here, Thomas Cromwell. His character progression is just amazing. I've read first 2 books in a series. This one, Bring Out the Baddies. The third one, The Mirror and the Light, is still on my TBR. I'm kind of hesitating to read it because I'm really sad that once I read it, this experience, first time reading it will be gone forever. So I kind of. But I really like to read it. But his character developed very much through these two books. It is very complex character. I don't want to take too much time here. But he moves, basically from a pretty. He's hungry to climb in his career all that, but he's moving from this very able, likable character that is seen by most people around him as somebody to be together with and search refuge with, into this slick political character that is really permeating his person everywhere in the court, and becoming really wicked. And I liked him as a person much less in the second book. So let's see what happens in the third book. But it is extremely rich, the picture of Thomas Cromwell that I have in my head, thanks to Hilary Mantel. So this would be my choice. Third is A for Australia. What was the last book you have read by an Australian author? Here, my ignorance about Australia is, much higher than my ignorance of American literature ever have been. Basically, I know literally nothing about Australia. I've read only one book that I can remember. Maybe there might be more. I've been thinking quite long and hard about this. It's only one book that I read by an Australian author. I'm ashamed, and it's good prompt because it makes you aware of these things. But the book I read by Australian author was fantastic book, and this is the Book Thief by Markus Zusak. I'm sure all of you know this book set in a World War II context, a really fantastic and poignant story. And this is one of the very few book that left me sobbing at the end. This was it was really a fantastic read. So the Book Thief by Markus Zusak, the only Australian I ever read. Come on. Okay. Number 4, A for Austen. What do you plan to read for Jane Austen July? And Jane Austen July is a booktube event I really love. I participated first time last year. I read Pride and Prejudice and Emma. That was my first reading of Jane Austen, and I fell completely in love with the Jane Austen, with her writing, with the characters, and my craving for more has been there throughout the year, and I wanted to read during the year, but my wife, who is reading with me, she said, please leave it for Jane Austen July, don't spoil it, leave next 2 books for Jane Austen July. So I did that. I followed her advice, and the 2 books that I will read in July, can't wait. Northanger Abbey and Sense and Sensibility. So really looking forward to that. Okay, number 5, A for Automobile. What is your favorite literary automobile? And here, despite thinking nothing, I can't, I can recall automobile playing a significant role in The Great Gatsby, for instance, but if the prompt was, what is the automobile from the literature you remember, I would have picked up The Great Gatsby. But the favorite, I don't have a favorite automobile in the literature, unfortunately. In real life, I certainly have favorite automobiles. I really love cars, but in the books, sorry, I can't answer. Number 6. A is anonymous. What is your favorite book or poem published anonymously? And here is my favorite is the Song of Roland, and this is really a fantastic epic poem that is I'm sure you have come across it. This is early medieval writing. Nobody knows who really put it down, and it is about the events during the campaign of Charlemagne in Spain, that happened by the end of 8th century. So it's year 778, where Charlemagne's troops are moving back from Spain to France, and they got attacked by Basque guerrilla, and the last part of the troop convoy was slaughtered by the Basque guerrilla, and that part of the Charlemagne's army was led by Count Roland, and this event has been used actually as a propaganda. It's used to creating propaganda against Muslims, because at that point of time the great war in the world that was ongoing was between Muslims and Christians, and creating a picture of these infernalic people, Muslims, was very important. So somebody utilized that event when the Basques slaughtered the Franks to write the Song of Roland, epic poem, which is about how Franks were betrayed by Muslims, and then the Muslims troops, they slaughtered Roland and his army, despite the heroic effort, and despite they, killing them killing Muslims in tens of thousands. At the end, these hordes were just too many, and Roland and his friends, they couldn't defend themselves anymore. And then Charlemagne, he came back and defeated Muslims, which didn't happen either, because Charlemagne never got back. But this was the whole propaganda thing. But it was summarized in the Song of Roland, which is just a fantastic time document, although being a propaganda and not having just embryo of truth, but still, every time I think about it and I read from it, it just transports me to that time, and it's so grandiose in its exaggerations and this feeling of the heroic knights and all that. It's really fantastic. So Song of Roland, if you haven't read it, I know that most of you heard about it, but if you haven't read it, it's highly recommended. Number 7, A is for autobiography. What was the last autobiography you read? It is not the last biography, but the last autobiography is this one, the autobiography of Malcolm X. You can also argue how much is the autobiography, how is biography, because this is this biography is told to Alex Haley, and then he wrote it down. So in words of Malcolm X, and in this edition by Penguin Modern Classics, there is a very long foreword, which is, I usually don't read forewords, perhaps at the end, often never, but in this particular case I did, and it is highly recommended to read it. It is excellent foreword, which is basically telling about Malcolm X's life and how this autobiography came to, and then the autobiography comes, and it puts everything you read after very much in a context, so that you get better understanding, a better feeling for it. The presentation of the person that is in the bottom of this character of Malcolm X, and all his both his history before he became Malcolm X, and then post that, and going through the things that happened to him, and how he became who he was, and his deepest feelings, frustrations, and fears, and all that. It is really masterfully portrayed here, and it was a really fantastic read, and also a piece of education about the situation of African Americans in the US even today. We don't need to open that discussion. I'm sure everybody is very much aware of what has been going on, but you get really great historical background when you read this one. So, Autobiography of Malcolm X. Prompt number 8, audiobooks. Do you consider listening to an audiobook as reading? this is also quite interesting, question. Well, it is not exactly as reading, because this that you really create the whole experience of reading in your own head. Part of that is served by the one who is reading the audiobook to you. So you do not this. One of the things that is lovely with reading is that you are reading a book is a creative act. Really, you are participating in the piece of art that literature is. You are participating by being a co-creator. And here, that part of co-creation of a picture in your head and experience is somebody else. So it's not really exactly the same thing, although you do get still much of this creation, because still, it requires a lot of your brain actually to get these pictures together. So it is not exactly the same thing, but it's very, very close to it. I do it. Sometimes I also mix. I read portions and then I listen to portions. If I want to, if I don't have a time, if I feel that I don't have time to read a book that is long, I combine, reading it and listening to it when I'm running, when I'm doing housework, when I'm driving to work. So I can, and that actually, it doesn't completely destroy this feeling of creation, because you are kind of still the lead picture in a book is still from the one that you get from the pages when you read yourself, and then the listening is the information. But if it's only audiobook, then it's not exactly the same thing, although I do like it very much. So that's it. Very nice tag. Thank you very much, Jim, and thank you, Steve, very much for tagging me for this one. And who do I send this tag further to? I know Steve tagged Tom, LA Books, as well. I was thinking about Tom immediately. Noah, of course, of everybody who reads must converse. Let's take Christy Lewis, Dostoevsky Space, and let's take Mark Richardson of Richardson Reads, and then let's take another one, Jack, Rambling Raconteur. So I'm looking forward. If you see this video and if you decide to do the tag, I'm looking forward to see it, but don't feel pressure to do it. Don't feel pressure to see this video neither, and so so that's it. So until next time, take care, bye.